Hi everyone, we are live for our weekly rendezvous, Real Talk Manifestation at Speak Up and Empower. Every week we meet here at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to speak about manifestation, all the techniques, all the tips and tricks that will help you create the life you want in the fastest and easiest way possible. Speak Up and Empower is a platform of heart-centered entrepreneurs that are on a mission to empower you, experts that have a message, that want to have their voice heard, that join the community to share powerful resources to empower your business, your relationship, your spiritual life, and any other area. So I truly invite you to check out speakupandempower.com and get access to those valuable resources and meet all our experts. And if you are an expert, you can also join and have your voice heard. Today I have with me a wonderful expert. She's powerful. She has a really, really unique technique to help you get to the bottom of why you are stuck where you are stuck in your business or in your life, and how you can pass that stage to create, manifest what you really want in the easiest and fastest way possible. Her name is Caroline. She will introduce herself and she will share with you her amazing gift. Hi, Caroline.
Hi, Crystal. Thanks so much for having me on. I'm excited to be here.
How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm in here in Spain. It's 9 o'clock. That's why it's a bit shadowy.
It's 9 o'clock at night.
Yeah, 9 o'clock at night. Yeah.
Oh, thank you for staying up for us. So, do you mind introducing yourself for our viewers that don't know you yet?
Sure. So I trained as a professional clairvoyant maybe over a decade ago. And so the way that I've kind of applied my clairvoyant skills as an entrepreneur myself is to, I know the ins and outs of what it takes to build a business, to run a business successfully. And it's been a journey that's been very personal to me as well. And I know what the pitfalls are. I know what people struggle with. And for that reason, I've kind of tailored my skills to help entrepreneurs who are growing their businesses and who need support seeing the things beneath the surface that kind of inform their experiences on the outside. And what that means is that there's a speaker, I'm not sure where he's based, but he's called Michael Ports, and he has this quote, or this expression, this thing that he says, where most of our business problems are like rooted in our personal lives. And I so believe that because, as entrepreneurs, our journey is a very, very personal one, especially if you're doing your soul work, especially if you are like a creative person. Like what you do as a business, what you breathe life into and are passionate about comes from like inside here. And if there's any place that you're out of communication with yourself, or you're not aware of fully who you are and what you're being called to create, that can create major stumbling blocks. It can create major frustration if you're not clear on what is the unique kind of environment that you've come out of. And you're being called to present this thing to the world. And if you're not clear on exactly what you're doing, we can find ourselves going all over the map. And so what I do is I help entrepreneurs see the areas in which they don't see themselves. And once they have that clarity around the areas in which they feel blocked or frustrated or struggling, then they can suddenly like kind of recognize the truth about who they are. And I think this is the key thing about the work, is like knowing who you are. Like fundamentally, it sounds so simple, but there's a whole lot of entrepreneurs who don't actually know who they are, or they don't actually know what they're doing or why. And they don't have clarity around like, what is the most direct route from A to B, and who do I need to be to get there? And so that's what I do as a professional clairvoyant. I'm trained to see what are the dynamics and energetic patterns that are playing out beneath the surface that you are not consciously aware of, that are informing your experience and that you are being the effect of. So you could think of it as a way of gaining clarity through all levels of your business. So there's the surface level, like if you have a bricks and mortar, or you have an online shop, or you have a, you know, whatever it is, that's the top level. And then as we get deeper into the levels, we get closer and closer to who you are and why this work is important, and who you need to be to present it at its brightest and its best. So my work is to help you traverse those layers as you get deeper and deeper down and closer to yourself.
I really love everything you just said, and actually that's what I was sharing yesterday in one of the speech I was giving. Can I be me? Because the world doesn't really give us room to be who we are, and entrepreneurship is the journey of your life, as I love to say. It's not like you are one person and as an entrepreneur, your business makes you someone different. At the end of the day, whatever you do, even if it's your business, it's you, it's your life. So you show up there, but how are you showing up? Are you really being you? And do you know that it's okay to be you in whatever you do in your business? And do you even know who you are in reality, as we're saying? Are you aligned with the real you? Or are you being the person you think people expect you to be in your business for them to buy from you? Or do you think you need to be someone else, like somebody you admire that is successful, become that person in order to get the same success? All of that is, you know, playing in people's mind, and they at some point don't know which direction to go, and they don't trust themselves enough to realize that I am good enough, and it's time to show the real me, because that's all people want. The gift you have, the best gift is the gift of who you are. That's what people buy at the end of it. They don't really buy your service, your product, because everybody offers that, or a lot of people do. So what makes you different is only you. So I really love how you share that, because that's so true. So I will ask you, you help them, and I know you have a powerful technique to do that, to help them identify the areas of their lives where they got disconnected from themselves. So do you want to share with us what your technique is? And for the viewers that are joining us, I see some people join us, feel free to say hi. And if you have a question, always feel free to post your question. We will get to that. So Caroline, do you want to share with us the technique you use to help people identify the areas of their life where they get disconnected from themselves?
Yeah, the technique is so connected to what you just said, Crystal, because like when you describe about being like the effect of who people expect us to be, or what our colleagues are doing in the industry, or you know how you sign up for a program and this is how it's done. If we just take a few steps back from that and we think about how we've grown up in our families or in our societies or in our cultures, we get programmed from very early on about what it's acceptable to be, or who it's acceptable to be, and how big you can be, and how bright you can be, and how smart you can be, and how dynamic and creative and free you can be. Like we get programmed from all of those things from early on, and then when we try to express who we are in a work context, that's just more stuff on top, more pressure on us. And so when we talk about the technique, what I look at and what I'm interested in is like, what are the core pieces that keep you out of communication with yourself? So it could be, for example, I was working with a client today, and her core piece was that she never got validation from her dad. Her dad was an absentee dad, and she just didn't have this sense of like being protected or being seen or being loved or being validated or being held. And she's 33 right now, and really at that place as an adult of trying to figure out, okay, how do I give myself these things that I didn't get as a toddler, that I didn't get as a kid? And so being able to identify what that is and how that experience, that formative experience, puts her into an immediate pattern of fight or flight that is about survival. Because if you don't feel seen, you don't feel safe. If you don't feel held, you don't feel safe. If you don't feel protected, you don't feel safe. And so her thing is all about, how can I make myself safe? Even if it's like, if my hairbrush falls, how can I make myself safe? Or if I, am doing exercise, like how do I not fall and like hurt myself? How do I keep myself safe? And it's like this overcompensated response to this formative experience. And that's what I find a lot, is like being able to identify what is the core influencing factor or the core formative experience that you play out in your personal life and in your work that you don't see, because it's so automatic, and it keeps you from achieving. First of all, it keeps you out of communication with your real self, and second of all, because of that, it keeps you out of vibrational integrity with, you know, the work that you feel so called as a spirit to present and to share. So my work, my technique is to look really literally, you know, with my sixth chakra, my third eye, to see where is that embedded in your body and what does it look like and how does it, you know. So I described to her today, for example. So there's an energy that lights up between your navel and your throat that puts you into fight or flight, and then once you're in that mode, it's like panic mode. Everything comes from that place. It doesn't matter what it is. And if you're in panic mode, you're not really responding to what is happening in real life. And that's a real point of frustration for her, because she wants to create a relationship and a family and a better job and all of the things. And the fight or flight dynamic that she's formed from childhood is keeping her out of communication with herself. So being able to literally see the dynamic for someone, and it is very different for each person, gives them an immediate understanding in a visual way of what they've been experiencing themselves. So they have the lived experience of it, and I give them the visual that helps them understand, oh, this is how this thing works. This is how this thing gets lit up and activated in my space, and I lose myself, and I just find myself acting out in this way, and it keeps me out of relationship with what I really want to create or who I sense myself to be. You know, you hear so often, and you would know this as a coach, Crystal, is like people have a sense of how powerful they are and what they're meant to do. But then when it comes to the how, they don't have the clarity, they don't have the confidence, they don't have the tools to bridge that gap, right? So giving them a visual image as a clairvoyant provides them with the missing piece, because the whole point in becoming more conscious of who you are and what you're doing is being able to see how you respond when you're unconscious, and choose more consciously and more deliberately, like what is my outcome that I'm trying to create. So it's a real shift from unconsciousness to consciousness by helping the person see the truth of who they are.
Yes, it's so true, because so many things, so many programs are running people's lives and they don't really realize it. They just have a way of doing things and they feel like this is my way. It doesn't feel good. It feels kind of heavy and makes things hard, but they don't understand that they have programs that are controlling them, stories or lies they buy into. Sometimes it comes from the whole society believing in something that is not true, and somewhere in you know it's not true. It shouldn't be that way. For example, it takes time to have what you want. It's hard to become successful. All those stories are stories that something in you is telling you probably this is not true. It can be easier. It can be done. There is a way to do it easier than this hustle thing. But you don't trust yourself because you're disconnected. The trust is gone, and you don't know what to do anymore.
Yeah,
because
and just
everybody, and you're lost completely. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, just to add to that point that you just made, that we don't see who we really are, and the reason we don't see fully who we are is if we're caught in an unconscious pattern or dynamic, we miss out on that opportunity to be connected enough to ourselves to say, hey, what's happening here, and what is my conscious deliberate response, rather than go into fight or flight or just fear, and we just choose something that keeps us in a vibration of like lack, or keeps us in a vibration of self-doubt or whatever it is. So it's like the consciousness piece, the awareness piece is huge, and it's also like tied up with what you and me talked about last time, in terms of like it takes courage to be able to want to know the truth about your situation, because when you are presented with the truth, then you have an opportunity in your hands where life is saying, okay, this is the moment where you get to choose. you know the truth now. Like, are you gonna go for it, or are you gonna pretend that you don't know?
It's sometimes so scary that it takes courage to get to jump in and just do what you know you should do anyways. So since you're talking about manifestation in this platform, I know, and that's what I, work on with my clients. Everything can be easy the moment you're connected with yourself and you trust
Yeah.
yourself. Your higher self or your inner power does the heavy lifting and things become easy. And sometimes it's hard for entrepreneurs to understand that it can be easy. They're so used to hear it's hard, you have to hustle and all of that. But the truth is, the you don't know that much, that you don't trust, that you don't listen to that little voice, that knowing you have without understanding. Sometimes it's crazy, as you say. Sometimes that you find out what the truth is, and it's so scary because sometimes everyone else around you is saying something completely different, and you don't have the courage to go your way. You don't have the courage to say, "This is me. This is how I want to do it. I'm doing it." But if you have that courage, it will become easy. Because if you don't, deep down, this is not, I don't want to do it this way, but you're doing it anyway because of all the shows, it becomes heavy. So that's why I used to say the heavy lifting is done by your inner power, but give it a chance, trust it. So from your experience, when you take people into that space where they find out, they see clearly that picture of this is the issue, now go this way, or this is how, make your decisions from this place of power. Does it become easy for them to make decision or to get the results they want?
Yeah, that's such a good question, because there's a couple of things in there I wanted to comment on. And the first one was, let me see if I can remember. There was so much goodness in there. Okay, the one that I do remember is that when presented with the truth, it's very common to see clients go to, okay, well, how's that going to work? How am I gonna, because they're stuck in the loop of like how things didn't work. And if you're in the vibration of how things didn't work, and like you presented with a solution of it could be a different way, your mind goes like, I don't really know, I don't really see how. I'm sure you get this all the time. The question of how is like the most common question as a coach that you get.
Yes. How?
Yeah. What I tell my clients is like, if you're trying to, like, your mind and your ego wants to be safe, like that is how we're wired as human beings. So we look at it through the filter of like, well, how's that going to work? And we're in the vibration of it can't. You see, it's like, it's very counterintuitive. It won't work if you look at it through the lens of like that doesn't exist as a possibility for me. So in terms of how, like, I will tend to like ask the client to consider, what is it like if you step out of that old framework and really feel into who you are, you know what I mean? And often what they find is like a lot of grief that they've been so disconnected from themselves, like there's a process of like grieving, there's a process of self-forgiveness, and then there's a process of like realization, like I am the only person who actually knows who I am and what I want. Like I can't wait around for anyone to really tell me that. And I think this is the thing that is so tricky about programs and industry leaders and things that promise to like, put you on the quick path to success, is that the fundamental truth is, unless you're connected to you and you know who you are and you know what your way is, what your unique way of creating is, you can have all the tools, you can have all the strategies, you can have all the support, but if you don't trust yourself fundamentally, it's not going to fly. It's going to be really frustrating because, and you see this a lot in the industry where people like become serial students and they sign up for the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and the missing piece is them, and I think I think it's like really groundbreaking to be having the conversation about, you know, what is your way? What is your unique way? Because until you find it, things are just not going to fit. Things are just going to feel like awkward. You know what I mean? And to get back to your original question, which was, just remind me again.
So my question was, from your experience, the moment people actually see the truth and decide to realign with themselves and go from that place, making decisions from that place, do they get results faster, faster than they used to get doing all the things they should do? Now that they step back into their power, own who they are, and show up from that place of power, how are the results? It's longer or it's faster than they used to get them?
It is faster than you can ever imagine, but it's probably like so like far removed from what your mind would have imagined it would be, that it takes a process of trust, you know, and that's like the process I'm referring to. There's grief, then there's self-forgiveness, and there's self-acceptance, and then there's self-trust, that I'm the only one who knows what I know, like knows who I am and knows how to take these steps to get me to the next place. And I am like in this moment where I have to rely on myself. And when I begin doing that, or when people begin doing that, things start to work, but in a way that you just couldn't never expect it, because you were in the old framework of like, I'm stuck, I'm frustrated, this is not possible for me. So it really is a vibrational shift in the way that you experience yourself, the way that you're in relationship to yourself and your business. And that is the real process that requires trust. So my emphasis is usually not to put folks' attention too much on, it's not going to be what you expect it to be, but it's going to like completely change your life, because that just sounds like more of like, that can't be possible, you know what I mean? It's like, and it's natural. It's like, if you're so entrenched in that old vibration of it's not for me, it can't be for me, there's not much I can say unless you begin trusting yourself that you're gonna, you know, that you'll start to hear me. So my emphasis is usually on what the truth is. And when presented with the truth, like, it's a major moment for the client to choose what they do with that. And that's the place as a mentor and as somebody who holds sacred space that I have no jurisdiction over. That's completely up to that person to see and to have and to own and to come into relationship with. And that's like the root of the magic right there.
Yes, and I love how you do it, because that's another thing in the coaching industry, right? People have these great programs that work for sure, but they expect everybody to do it a certain way. And there is not enough programs out there that allow coaches or mentors that allow people to decide to be who they are. Like what you shared, you tell, this is the truth. What do you want to do with it? You don't tell them, okay, now that this is the truth, we know the way, we have identified the problem, we have identified the issue, now do this and do this and do that. People need to take back their power and know that at the end of the day, they create the result they want, they create the life they want, they create the business they want, they create anything. They have to get back that power, not always wait for somebody to tell them what to do, because the knowing of what to do is within. We all know what to do, and you share that also, that we have the answers. That place of I don't know what to do, I'm overwhelmed, I'm scared, it's just a place your brain or your mind finds to keep you safe. Because if you don't know, as I love to say, if you don't know, you will not do it. So it's safe to say, I don't know what to do, I'm completely lost, I have done this, I have been trying so hard. What are you running away from? So now it's time for people to take back their power and say, hey, this is who I am, this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it. Have that trust in yourself that you have the answers. Maybe a coach like you do can help you identify, you know, the places or in the areas of your life where you give away that power, and they tell you, okay, this is the area, this is the situation, this is what you are not seeing right now. Okay, now that you have that information, you have the power to use it to
Yeah.
create what you want. And that's
Yeah.
important for people to know that, hey, I can do it. I know how to do it. That's the lovely question. How can I, how is that, how does that work? The hows, the when, the is it possible? All those fall into place the moment you reconnect with yourself and move into trust. So,
Exactly. Like,
yeah.
sorry, if I could just jump in for 2 seconds. Like, our minds want a guarantee that if I do this, like, this will be the outcome. And the process is much bigger in that unless we take the little steps of trusting ourselves moment by moment, we don't have access to that new vibration of creation and that new vibration of a bigger way to be. So there's no way to be in the old vibration and have the new, is what I'm trying to say.
Totally. That's so true. So before we leave, Caroline, I want you to share. I read your ebook, Pictures of Photos. Can you share, because pictures, you actually take pictures of the things that keep people stuck or people pieces they are missing that keep them disconnected from themselves. I want you to explain that technique with us.
Yeah, it's a really interesting concept that I was really excited to present, to be able to like even begin to put it together. It was an idea that came together in the winter for me, and then we went into lockdown here in Spain, really intense, through March, April, May this year. And what I was able to capture in pictures as portals was an experience of what it's like to be in session with me. And I did that through 3 case studies of 3 clients that I worked with, and I presented the struggles that they were having, and I presented then, the image that came up for them. So as a clairvoyant, it's a very visual process where you literally see, either you see the energy and I describe there's an orange, blah, 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 or I will see something metaphorical, like in the way of like a movie picture or a film or just stills that come up. And so the case studies allowed me to present the image that unlocked for each of those clients, like the dynamic and the mechanism that they had been unconscious to, and that they'd been being the effect of, that was keeping them at a certain level of manifestation or creation in their businesses or in their relationships. And usually it's a multifaceted thing. So it's all of those things. It's business, relationships, personal life, well-being, all of it. And so the idea of an image is so powerful, Crystal, because when you see an image, when I see it and I say, look, Crystal, this is what I see, and you see it with me, you immediately register if it's truth that, oh my goodness, that's the experience that that's the loop I've been on, that's the experience I've been repeatedly having. And once you see how it works and why it's there and where it came from and how you like unconsciously bring it to life, how it gets activated and comes to life in your day-to-day experience, you are able to see that exact point at which that red flag can go up and say, that is where you don't want to go. And once you see that place where you don't want to go, it becomes very difficult to go there because you were going there before because you were unaware of it. So that is such a powerful pivot in terms of being able to see yourself at that level so deeply. What is my truth and who am I really and where have I been getting lost? And once you see that place where you've been getting lost, you don't go there again. You just vibrationally cannot go there again. So pictures as portals is a way that I found to bring people into an experience of what it's like or what it could be like to have a really deep experience of seeing their truth and seeing themselves and what might be possible for them in terms of being able to express as entrepreneurs who they most truly and fully are. And I would love to share that with your viewers.
Yes, please. That would be a beautiful gift. Go ahead.
Yeah. So Pictures as Portals is an ebook. It would probably take, the time investment is less than half an hour to read it from front to back. But I promise you it will give you insight into your background workings of your business and your life like you've never seen before. And the feedback I've got, and I've included that in the new version now, some of the feedback let's promote entrepreneurs about the way their eyes to what is possible for businesses and for themselves when they can get to the truth of, you know, the places in which they've been getting stuck. And my work is really high touch. I'm not doing any stuff at the moment. It's all like one-on-one. And for that reason, I don't have like a nice bells and whistles website where you can sign up and go through all the things. I'll just invite folks, Crystal, to email me directly if they'd like a copy of pictures of the hotel.
We can just put your link and if the contact details in the comments for people to just take advantage of that.
Right. So my email, I'm not actually sure how to do that in comments, Crystal.
Yeah, we can even do it after, you know, posting directly on the video, you know, just for people that are interested to take advantage of it to join.
Perfect. You can add my email address, and I would love to share it with your viewers. I'm very proud of it, and the feedback has been wonderful.
Thank you so much for that beautiful gift, and thank you for taking the time to stay up late at night for us. I don't know if you sleep early usually, but after some people sleep at 8. So when you told me that it was like, okay, what if she sleeps at 8? But anyways, thank you. It was great to have you here. It was a beautiful conversation. Thank you so much. Before we leave, do you have a final word before we separate?
No, thanks so much for having me, Crystal. It's been really wonderful having this conversation with you. So we could go on for hours, couldn't we? My final words would be, you know, if there's something that has been working in someone's business, you know it hasn't been working, and you know you've tried. If you knew what was needed, you would have done it already. So I invite you to consider that maybe the piece that you're missing is something that you're actually not aware of and that you might need help to see. And if that is the case, I would encourage you to reach out just intuitively. Support around.
We lost you a little bit, Caroline.
Can you hear me?
Yes, well, you have been kind of on and off, but I think you are back now. So,
So if I just finished that thought, I was saying, like, if there's a place that you've, as an entrepreneur, have been getting stuck and you've tried all the things and you've done all the things and you just can't break through the barrier, to consider maybe there's something you're not in because you're in it. You're in it. Like, you're not separate from it. And if that is the case and that's a possibility for you, I encourage you to really intuitively reach out, support for them, because the minute you can see it is the minute everything will shift.
I don't know why at the end of your offer we always lose you, but I think we got the sense of what we're saying. Thank you so much, Caroline, for stopping by. Thank you for watching this. If you are catching the replay, type #replay. Caroline's email and the link to the ebook will be available in the comment section. Feel free to take advantage of it. Reach out to her if you have more questions. That will be answered. Don't worry about it. Thank you so much for being here every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to speak Real Talk Manifestation. Thank you so much. See you next week. I'm your host, Crystal Biga. And stay tuned to my page. I have a big announcement to make in a few minutes. So you want to stay connected to this page. See you later. Bye.
Bye-bye.